Then once we have done the labor cost, we are going to look at the other expenses. So the other expenses are usually based on the two, as we have discussed in the past. There are two type of other expenses. One is going to be the variable expense, which are based on the revenue, right? Which are based on the volume of the business. So it can be based on the percentage to revenue. In the hotels is based on the number of occupied room nights, by the number of customers that we serve in the hotel. For other businesses, it could be based on number of products that we sell, number of distributors, number of customers, number of employees. So it's variable expense depending on what are the business levels. So the first job that we have to do here is, again, as a general practice, we look at the past trends. We establish the relationship between the expenses and the volume of the business. How is it related? What is the pattern? Is it going to increase based on the number of increase in the covers, or number of increase in the business, or how is it going to impact? And then we also need to adjust this by the changes in the behavior pattern of customers, behavior pattern of the suppliers. Maybe there's a new initiatives, new innovations. There are inflation, there are price increase related with the variable expenses. So we have to factor in those expenses. Then the second type of expense is fixed, which is same irrespective of the level of business that you are going to do. For example, the rental of your office is going to remain fixed. But what we can do is, we need to look at, is there any new contract? Is the price going to increase, or can are we going to move to another location which will save us more expenses? So we need to know what are the strategies about around to save on the fixed expenses. In the real world, there's another type of expense which is semi variable, or you can call it semi fixed, or somewhere in the middle. So it may increase based on the business, but the percentage change is not going to be same, right? It may not increase up to certain level of business, but after certain level of business it may increase suddenly. So these are called step variable or step fixed expenses, or step variable expenses. So those expenses are also, again, we need to understand the relationship between the business and the nature of the expense, and we may split them out, like fixed to fixed and variable to variable, for the purpose of budgeting. Otherwise, the forecasting will be very difficult. And then there are sometimes one-time expenses, like extraordinary expenses, or you can say non-recurring expenses, which happens over a period of time. So we need to look at, are they likely to reoccur, or we may have something another aspect of the same thing or another thing, which is usually the expense. As a best practice, we normally keep a percentage of revenue or business for these one-time expenses, so that we are not caught off guard, and we are not out of budget at any point of time.